You're welcome back. This is Joy News Desk with me, Benis Abubaid. We'll be going to the various regions shortly where there were also some incidents of alleged takeover by some suspected NPP sympathizers. But before we do that, former Trade and Industry Minister Spio Garbrah is discouraging his fans who have begun campaigns for him to lead the NDC in the 2020 to cease activities. Speaking to Joy News in an interview, he said it will take him up to 2 years to take a decision on whether to contest to lead the NDC in the elections in election 2020. He says his current focus on helping reorganize the party following the 2016 election defeat.
But in historical terms, almost all good leaders, all good achievers were never recognized during their time. It takes 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to recognize Leonardo da Vinci as a good artist or a painter, or Aristotle as a good philosopher, or President Nkrumah as a good Africanist. And it took 50 years for the AU to put up a statue for him in Addis Ababa. So President Mahama is a historian. He knows it may take 10, 15 years for what he has also done for Ghana to be fully appreciated. But for the time being, he's leaving office and he lives in grace, he lives in glory. And I think all of us who have served with him appreciate his contribution to the country.
What is the trick for him? Initially, when he started, as in the Mills administration, for example, there was talk about a Team B running the show. But looks like now a lot has changed and you're praising it all. What for you did the trick for him?
I don't think it's a matter of a trick. I mean, he became president in 2012, am I right?
Yes.
When President Mills died. We are talking about the Mahama administration, that's what we are talking about. We are referring to comments that were made when President Mills was in office. There were two different governments. And this also has been explained in other circumstances, but it's fine to bring it up anytime you want. We are talking about the legacy of the President Mills, President Mahama administration. And I'm saying his legacy can be seen in a lot of infrastructure that is all over the country, which Ghanaians are benefiting from and will continue to benefit from. But I was also saying that historically, leaders and successful people are not always appreciated during their own time. It took Jesus being crucified for us to be praising him 2,000 and more years later. So I'm saying the same way, it may take a number of years for President Mahama's contribution to be fully appreciated. So it's not about anything doing a trick. It's about people taking time before they appreciate what has been done for them. There are people who don't respect their fathers, their mothers today because they thought, why is my mother only a market woman? Why is my father only a taxi driver? And when they grow up themselves and they find how difficult it is to make a living, they realize that, oh, I see, my father, when he was a palm wine tapper, a cocoa farmer, actually he was doing a good job. And I, as a young boy or girl, just didn't appreciate what he was doing. That's all I'm talking about.
Will you step into his shoes in 2020? Will you do that?
I don't think we are talking about anybody stepping in anybody's shoes. First of all, it is President Nana start in January, who will be stepping into the shoes of President Mahama as President of the Republic of Ghana.
But as NDC leader, then it becomes
NDC
Mahama.
itself is going through a process of review, a process of reorganization, a process of reflection on the factors that led to our loss of the last election. And then from there, there'll be branch, constituency, and regional and national elections of our party executives. Then after that, there will also be an invitation to all and sundry who want to consider themselves for leadership of the party to come forward. So at that time, which may be 2 years from now, if you come and ask me that question, I'll be able to...
I'm asking now because I know you had interest to the extent that you attempt contest.
10 years ago. So I'll give you an answer in 2 years or thereabouts when the party has invited those who are interested to run for the leadership to come forward.
For me, there's a high likelihood the response will be yes, as in you stepping up to the plate.
Media will always speculate. So you cannot stop the media from speculating. You cannot even stop Ghanaians from speculating because there are social media platforms where everybody is going on. People are creating different groups, whether you like it or not, for 2020.
Including fans of Dr. Spio Garbrah.
My current agenda. My agenda is to help the party to reconstruct itself, to reorganize itself, to identify the areas of its weaknesses. Because if the party does not strengthen itself, as the president himself has said in certain meetings, if you take he uses allegories. So he used the allegory of a baton race, a relay race. In some other meetings, he's used the party like a horse that you may ride. So if you don't ensure that that horse is healthy and strong enough, no matter who you put as a jockey on that horse won't win a race. So the key is to make the horse, the party, strong and capable of winning races. And then now somebody might say, even if you put a cat on it or a dog on it, potentially you could win the race. So that's the focus of my current concern, how to strengthen the NDC party. I was part of the reorganization committee of this party in the year 2001. And so I know what it took to reorganize the party and to get it back to a position of strength for it to compete in the 2004 election and then to compete in the 2008 election. I would like to put that emphasis on the reorganization of the party at this time and to contribute my best to the committee that has been put under Professor Kwesibo to look at the issues both forwards and backwards and ensure that the party gets stronger. Following that, there will always be, competition about who leads any party. And so when the time comes, I think we'll see what happens.
So how do you say to those fans of yours who set up all of these fan clubs and are pushing Spio Garbrah for 2020?
All those fans are being told today that they should focus and concentrate on strengthening the party and making sure that the party, as I said, if you compare it to a horse, has the strength and the capacity to win a race. When the horse is strong enough, when it is well fed, when it has practiced and rehearsed, it can win any race. That is where we should all focus our attention. Not just only friends of Spio Garbrah or people who belong to Spio Garbrah fan clubs, but there are many, many other parliamentarians with various fan clubs, even those who are for the current president who have also formed various clubs urging him to run again. Let us focus on strengthening and uniting the party, because after all elections, there's a fallout. Those who lost primaries in NDC, some were aggrieved and went and became independent candidates against our own people, which led to us losing maybe 10 seats or more. Then there are all kinds of factions and anger between party chairmen and candidates about who got what money and who wasn't given what money. There are all kinds of things being spread around on social platforms which are generating bitterness and anger. And that, I guess, you can't do away with all of it. But it's important for those of us who may be in any kind of leadership in the party to emphasize the importance of party unity, of party coming together, of some degree of forgiving and forgetting, for those who may have committed errors also coming out to appreciate and apologize for their misdeeds if necessary, even those who need to recover funds or vehicles or things given to them and bringing them back to the party so the party can be strong. And that has to be the focus of our attention, and that is my focus.
Former Trade and Industry Minister Spio Garbrah speaking on the future of the NDC away from politics and elections. When you hear of pension, what immediately comes to mind? Less money to spend or no energy to work? Well, contributions to the SNIT scheme can help you spend your life after work financially prepared. Corporate Affairs Director at SNIT, Eva Amega, she explains the benefits you will derive from contributing to the SNIT scheme. She was speaking on the AM show earlier this morning.
Either ignorance or connivance between the employer and the worker, because he will tell you that SNIT is a tax, so why do you pay? So let me pay you allowances and pay your salary. But you should know that the employer pays 13% of your salary to SNIT, whether they like it or not. The employer, from his own coffers, is supposed to pay 13% of his money, by your salary to SNIT. So if he's paying you less salary, his percentage will also go down. So when they tell you and you also want to receive the money, but you'll be worse off when you retire, because when you retire, the allowances are not coming. Okay. So you say that, well, SNIT didn't pay me much, but you were paying us what you were receiving as your basic salary, and the allowances were not included. And when you go on retirement, the allowances won't be there. So you see that you are worse off. So what you were able to do during your working life, in pension, you can't do that.
Is there a law against that? Because what can one person do?
There was a law in the, I think, after the introduction of the pension scheme in 1991, that all salaries should be consolidated. And they did, but somehow it fizzled out. People want to have the money in their pockets more than just think about their future.
SNIT has increased its payment by 18% effective January 2017. Eva Mega, she says this is only for pensioners and not current contributors.
The National Pension Scheme mandates SNIT by Section 80 to index the pension annually. So we've been indexing since 1991 to 2017. and it's been fluctuating depending on certain economic indicators, like for instance, inflation, average salary of the previous years, and other things that determines the indexation for the year. So this year is 18%, and the 18% has been broken into two parts. There's a first part that is a 15%, that is a flat up rate for everybody who was on the state pension as at December 2016, plus a flat amount of 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos, which means that everybody who was on the state pension as at December will get an increase of 15% of whatever he or she was collecting as at December, plus a flat amount of 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos.
So in the same vein, if I'm on pension and I take 500 Ghana cedis as my benefit every month, what's going to change about the 500 Ghana?
The 500 Ghana cedis is going to change by adding on 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos, plus 15% of 500 Ghana cedis. So 15% of 500 Ghana cedis plus 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos.
Okay.
That's the new increment that you are going to get from January 2017.
Okay.
Well, you may know workers in the non-formal sector hardly contribute to SNIT, and the corporate affairs manager of SNIT, Eva Megashi, discourages this trend and explains the consequences.
We started the informal sector in the 80s and 90s actually, for people in the informal sector. Most of the time, they want a separate scheme that will take care, give them loans, do certain things for them. So we set up this informal sector, and later on they became autonomous, but they were called the Social Security Informal Sector. Now they are the, I think, NTAC.
Oh,
yes, they are handling it.
Okay.
So they go, they have their marketers who go and register them and collect their money. But we have the voluntary contributors, those who can come. Probably they used to be in the formal sector. They are now on their own. They want to continue because they might not be 55 or 60. So they come and they go. So we have them on our
Do you get the sense that we think about pension?
No. We think that between like our current age and pension is eternity. It might not come now. So when you talk about pension, even when you go to the organizations to go and talk to them about pension, they don't listen. It's only when they are 55 and 60, then they think about, where now I'll be going on pension. This salary might see some day. But we advise that you start thinking about pension the first day you start work. So you plan your life and think about social security, because it will help you. People think that no expatriates, so far as you work in Ghana, social security is not for Ghanaians, it's for workers in Ghana. Workers. So even when you are an expatriate, you're supposed to contribute to us. They only think about the old age pension. That's okay, I'm going to work for be in Ghana for just 2 years. Within the 2 years, something can happen to you. You could be involved in an accident, might be permanently incapacitated. Social security will be there for you. You might die, your dependents will fall on social security. There are these benefits. And if you're an expatriate and you are living permanently, and you registered as an immigrant, when you are going, we pay you your money.
It's now time for business news. Emmanuel Abuajeriafe is standing by right after this. He'll bring you some stories. Please don't go away.